Is why you should be excited for Alpha 317. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Avenger1, and today I want to talk about 317, and most specifically, what I'm really excited for in this patch, and how I think personally that this patch right here is going to bring Star Citizen into a whole nother level, and I think it starts with 317. If you've been following the channel, you guys know that I'm very excited and passionate about PvP. And the number one thing I'm excited for in this specific patch is the fixes to desync. So if you take this fight that we're watching here, you can see that not all the time the lasers are kind of lined up with the direction of the ship. And so in CIG's words, in 317 we have put in a networking update that should reduce ship-to-ship desync. We would like to know how well this update works and if there are any observable knock-ons relative to 316. You should feel as though the facing direction and position of other player ships are more accurate and in real time. We've created feedback on Spectrum to let you know of any potential issues. So what this tells me here is they're listening. Desync's been a huge problem for Star Citizen for a long time. And in a lot of ways, especially in PvP, it really gets in the way of enjoying the kind of experience. As you can see here, that Gladius was facing relatively 60 degrees offset to me, even though on his screen he might have been facing a lot closer to center rather than what I saw. The reason why I think this is going to make a big game change, guys, is, let's think about this. Tarkov was popular for a while, and then they did some updates to its networking, and the desync kind of went away for the game. Some of the glitches went away, and the game started to explode. I really do think that if these desync fixes, from what I've been talking to, from pilots I know, from ETF and whatnot, if it is true that these fixes are making a huge, a huge fix to the desync, we're gonna have a way better experience when it comes to dogfighting and just overall player versus player. And so for that reason, I am very excited, and I think you should be too, because once the desync problems start to kind of go away, then combat starts to get a lot more refined and a lot more exciting. It's going to bring a lot of people into the game, and it's going to bring a lot of people into PvP, and that is why I'm losing sleep just thinking about it. Next up, we have the RSI Scorpius, or the X-Wing, for some of you guys out there who know what this looks like. And I'll be honest, I'm excited for the Scorpius. I am a little bit skeptical on her effectiveness in a fight. In two ways. I think the Scorpius, like the Hurricane, is going to be quite overpowered when she first comes out. I think I made a video on my predictions on the Scorpius a few weeks ago. And this idea that people have been coming up with, like, well, the weapons are wing mounted, so there's a good chance that your guns are going to get shot off. Well, from a player versus player's perspective, I can honestly say I don't think that's going to be a big deal, because if you have 8 forward-facing size 3 guns, the likelihood of you being able to shoot all 4 wings off in the span of time that he's going to have to take you out is going to be very minimal. With 8 forward-facing size 3s, it's more burst DPS than almost any other ship in the game, including the Vanguard and some other ships, right? So, if you understand your basics and you've been watching my videos and whatnot, you know that you're going to be able to get the person, even with a lower turn rate, if you cancel their motion, if you delta merge them, if you do all these basic tactics, once you get those guns forward facing, it's going to be bad news bears. And also, if you're going for the kill, why would you be going for the wings? Perfect, even in a perfect scenario where you shoot all 4 wings off, you still have 4 forward-facing size 3s on the turret. So, I think this idea that stripping the wings off the Scorpius is going to lead to a victory, I think is just I think it's kind of silly. I think people need to understand that the threat of the ship is going to be forward-facing, massive DPS, and I think how you get away from this thing is you range control it because it's less maneuverable, and you try to shoot in on it when it's got its turret facing you. You try to shoot in behind it. You try to, once its turret flips to the back, then you try to shoot off in front of it and just kind of keep the turret going from back to front, right? So, but we'll see. I think the Scorpius is going to be more maneuverable than the Vanguard or the Hurricane. And I think it's going to be an absolute monster when it comes out, which I don't think will surprise many people. But there you go. There's number 2, the exciting Scorpius in all her glory. Next up, I'm very excited for this next one. Ship-to-ship refueling. Now, they've been talking about this for a while now, but we finally get access to the first iterations of this mechanic in 3.17. Now, I know we're all still inside the Stanton system, and fuel, for the most part, isn't really too much of a concern. But as we go into Pyro, and as criminal factions it becomes more and more important for criminal gameplay to have more logistics and more setup time, ship-to-ship refueling is really going to tie all that stuff together. For some of you guys who've been following my stream, you'll notice that I'm usually running CrimeStat 5 almost indefinitely. And I can only really fuel up on outposts and at Grimhex. But the idea of having someone dedicated to fly a fuel truck with our team as we go about the universe is really exciting to me, because it's going to add a whole nother level of depth, organization, and team play that I think is really important. It's going to tie a lot of things together. And as we move on into the game and Pyro comes out and we start adding more and more systems, there's going to come a time where fuel management is going to be a very, very important thing, and you got to be very careful how you spend it, how you refuel yourself, and how you manage your battle group. So for this reason, I think the ship-to-ship refueling with all its nuances, its mechanics, having it relatively skill-based in the sense that you got to know what you're doing, otherwise you're going to be wasting fuel like we saw there, right? So it's going to be exciting. It's coming in 3.17. I'm excited for it because it's going to add more depth in gameplay, and I'm all about adding more depth in gameplay. Number 4, and wrapping up the things that I'm most excited for 3.17, guys, is the Hull A and item and loot selling. Now, I can't really express how important this is to the game. Like, being able to sell stuff that you collect in the universe is huge. Like, it really is, and the Hull A series, even though Cargo Refactor is not coming out for 3.17, you're still going to be able to ship stuff with the ship. And it's nice to just have another hauler in the game. Right now, hauling and trading in general in Star Citizen is not in the best position it could possibly be in. But with the Hull A series coming out and CIG looking more closely at trading, the economy and just the general overall trading gameplay loop, ships like this are going to push that gameplay. And it's going to get more people involved in trading and shipping and just in the game in general. And plus, it's nice to finally see a ship that has been, teased for years now. Finally, we get our trading ship. So I know there's going to be a lot of really excited, really happy people out there that are finally going to get their hands on one of their favorite ships, the Hull series, right? And, excuse me, with the Refactor coming out, the Hull A series is going to be a very popular ship, especially for new players and experienced, I think, right? And when you're selling loot, guys, like, again, I use the Tarkov example, right? It's like, Star Citizen, I think, is about to get very big very quickly. And I think these things like the ships like the Hull A and, desync fixes and being able to sell equipment and loot, man, we are where Tarkov was right before Tarkov exploded. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments. Get involved, have some fun, tell me what you think, and we can have a good discussion on it. But overall, guys, that's it for today. These were my top 4 things when it comes to being excited about 3.17 and why I think you guys should be excited too. The desync fixes, the Scorpius, the Hull A series with item selling, and ship-to-ship refueling. All of these things are going to affect PvP combat, which you guys know I'm very passionate about, but also affect the game in general in a positive way. So let me know what you think, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel and the Twitch. I hope to see you guys all out for the next video and the next stream. I was Avenger1, and I'll see you next time.